Okay, you have to ensure that we are still looking at some safety measures while you are working on sites. While you are working on site, what are the safety measures that you have to put in place? So we are saying that you should ensure that the right working tools are used during solar panels installation. You can see the toolbox. You can see the toolbox. There are numerous. So we talk about toolbox separately and how to use them. So ensure that if your tool or your tools are faulty, ensure that you get a new one. So we are still talking about safety measures while you are working on site. Safety measures while you are working on site. So you have to barricade the working area while working at heights. What do I mean by barricade? You have to put something like this. We have been seeing it in our locality. We have road construction. You see they will put something like this to prevent people access. You know, your plier, your hammer might fall from on top of the roof, and peradventure somebody, a visitor or somebody might just want to come and see what you are doing. Before you know it, your hammer, your drilling machine, anything might mistakenly fall from top of the roof. So maybe you are doing excavation, you have to always barricade. What do I mean by barricade? Put a demarcation to separate the work area from people's access. That is what we mean by barricade. So when you are carrying your tools, when you are carrying your solar panels, we notice when we were carrying the solar panel, we make use of the scaffold, the rope. So always use tool lodging to tie off tools while carrying solar panels or while carrying other tools. All scaffold used on site must have the following. So if you are using scaffold, we already know that the solar industry is very large. The solar industry is very wide. One person will not be able to go through everything, do it by himself alone. Do it by himself alone. No, you will not be able to function that way. You cannot function that way. So you need other professionals to work with. So when you want to erect scaffold, there are people that are professional in that field. So you have to get their attention, call them into the project. Don't say, what does it take to erect scaffold? No. All scaffold used on site must have the following before you climb scaffold. You know, our life is always at risk, honestly. It's only by the grace. It's only by the grace. So that is the reason when you want to go for sites, you have to commit the journey, the project into the creator's hand for safety. So most times, accidentally, anything might happen. So when this is the reason you must always be very safety conscious. So when you want to use your scaffold, a work permit must be available before erection. Before you erect scaffold, there must be work permit. Depending, maybe in your own environment, your country, there must be work permits before any scaffold is erected for the purpose in which it is meant for. A complete scaffolding checklist. When you go through the textbook, you see a complete scaffolding checklist. Things you have to look out for. When we are doing power audit, there are things we must consider. There are things we must look out for. So when you are planning using scaffold, when you plan using the scaffold, you must ensure that there is a checklist, a complete scaffolding checklist must be present, in which you go through it and see whether the necessary things it has been put in place. A scaffold fit for use inspection level attached to it before you climb it. So there must be a scaffold fit for use inspection level attached to the scaffold. That means after all inspection, after the erection, a complete scaffolding checklist, and the professional will go through it and ensure that everything is in place. Then they will attach a label that this scaffold is fit for use. Else, don't risk your life. So safety measures, we say that this is not peculiar to the solar industry alone, but sometimes we equally dig, we excavate when we want to do, maybe we want to do earthing and every other thing in the power sector. We are bound to excavate, even though it might not be peculiar to this industry. We have to bring it in. So safety measures during excavation. Sometimes you want to bury your armored cable. You want to bury your armored cable. So there are some safety measures you must follow. So ensure you barricade the work area. We already know what barricade means. We already said that. So carry out trial test. Carry out trial test. Don't just start digging. Dig small. When you are excavating, ensure you dig slowly, so that you don't cut other cables that were already laid beneath the soil. So trial test. The first 2 feet must be dig gradually, so that you don't cut any cable that was buried on the ground for another purpose. Maybe you dig as fast as possible. Before you know it, you burst pipe. You see water will start flowing, and you have to stop and ensure that you stop that water from flowing before you can continue. All those things are things that will chop your time. So ensure that you do trial tests. Do it gradually before you can put more energy digging. Don't undermine nearby structures. Dig away from nearby structures and always use safe digging practices. If you see something standing close to where you are excavating, please be very cautious of what you are doing. Excavation must be checked every day before the commencement of work and after even that may affect the stability of the excavation. So when you dig now, you know some soil are not that strong. So before you come and enter inside the excavation, please always ensure that the ground, the soil is stable, and access to the excavation and out of the excavation must always be provided. Don't walk alone. We already said that. So safety measures in the powerhouse. Safety measures in the powerhouse. We have talked about during excavation. We have talked about when you are on climbing up the roof. That is safety measures at height. So let's consider safety measures while we are working in the powerhouse. So fire extinguisher is one of the basic necessities in any powerhouse during solar system installation. So even when you are installing a 5 kVA system, don't say it's not necessary. In fact, fire extinguisher should be part of any household, because installing solar anyway is not synonymous with fire outbreak. Please, let's get rid of that ideology. Some people are afraid to install solar. They say no, they want that house that got burnt in so place. They say it was because of solar. It wasn't because of solar. In our environment, we have been seeing fire outbreak in a facility without solar system. So we are saying that fire extinguisher, in as much as you are driving with your car, fire extinguisher is a component that must be available. So in your facility, in your house, for any eventuality, you must always make fire extinguisher parts of the things you have in your own facility. So ensure all your working tools are properly insulated. We talked about that before now. We say ensure all your working tools are properly insulated. Using metal tools to work on electrical circuit is a serious threat to life. As simple as ABC. If you are working on a circuit and you don't insulate properly your tool, you are a threat to life. Ensure that all metal part of any tool used on electrical circuits are properly insulated. We said this before. You love this. You love this. So there's no way you'll be exposed to electrical shock. So please ensure that your electrical tools are properly insulated. Cables and battery terminals must be professionally terminated. You can see some people use manual method to terminate cables. Well, it's not okay. So you have to use your cable lock, and this other machine to terminate the cable, to lock this cable very well. Ensure you don't use manual method to lock cables or battery terminals. One of the reasons we have fire outbreak most times during solar system installation is loose terminals. If you don't professionally lock your cable, it might cause fire outbreak. So please always use your cable lock to lock your solar cable so that the connection will be firm. And make sure you protect this side as well. So earthing oil, we are talking about safety measures while we are working on the Powerhouse. So earthing all the solar component is a must during any size of solar system installation. We talked about 49 reasons why solar system installation fail. We talked about 49 reasons why solar system installation fail, and earthing is one of it. Earthing all the solar component is a must during any size of solar system installation. You see, we have to repeat it. So you can see this is your earth cable. You can see this is your earth cable. This is your earth cable, and you can see how we terminate all the cables, and we use sellotape to label each of these things professionally. You don't see any metal parts here. So basically, before connecting panels or battery to the solar components, polarity check must be made. Please, before you connect positive to negative, please check. We don't want to talk about that, but I say please check. Before connecting panels or battery to the solar component, polarity check which one is positive, which one is negative. The output generated by the panels and solar battery must also be properly determined to know whether it is the right output to the solar component based on the rating of the solar system. If you are installing a 24 volt inverter and you are sending a 48 volt, maybe you are having a 24 volt inverter, with which if you are using 4 battery, you are supposed to be series and parallel, but you are doing only series. You have increased the voltage more than the voltage rating of the inverter. You connect it and you see smoke come out. That is the end of that project. So always test to know whether the voltage supplied is okay. You can see before we move, we have to test. Those engineers, they are testing the input, the outputs, and housekeeping must be adhered to. Clean that environment when you finish work. Housekeeping, that is you clean, must be adhered to at the close of work. Accident can occur due to obstruction on site, and it's important that housekeeping is carried out at the close of work every day. You can see because of obstruction here, this man nearly finished. So there must be professional cable management practices, cable arrangement, labeling, and hiding cables will trunk during solar system installation. You like the arrangement, so maybe your work needs is speak volume about who you are, what your brand stands for. So all the solar components must be properly earthed. We said that the right size of cable is key to the success of any solar system, and using the wrong size of cable will cause voltage drop or sometimes problems of fire outbreak. We will expatiate, we will delve into voltage drop in the course of this training. Is one of the modules we are going to handle in this particular training. So voltage drop causes system failures. Voltage drop causes system failure. So we will tell you, we'll teach you how to professionally size your solar cable to take care of voltage drop, so that when you are designing the solar system, you know that what you will be getting will give you the best results in, during, and after the installation process.